Hi there, my name is Toby and this is part 2 of my series on effortless walking. Now, walking and running are actually very high level mastery skills. They're very difficult to do, but we've taken them for granted and we just think, we can do it, no big deal. But if we can get it right, if we can perfect the technique, we will find that we can get effortless walking and even effortless running. Now, it's all about alignment. We've got to align the body correctly. That is the first key. And the second key is we've got to use the joints correctly. We've got to loosen up the joints and use them in the correct sequence and use the ligaments and the tendons more than the muscles. So here, this is the first exercise. We're starting to swing. So today we're working on swinging the arms and swinging the legs. And I'm just twisting left and right here, shifting my weight from one foot to the other and feeling the twist in the hips. The legs are straight, but you can see I've got a nice, tall, upright spine. My sternum is tilted slightly up, my belly pulled in. I've got a slight backwards arch in the lumbar, but the glutes are squeezed slightly and pushing slightly forward, and the shoulders are up and back. And here now, with the hands behind the head, elbows pulled back, you can really open the chest and stretch the spine. And I'm just bouncing from one foot to the other, again with a straight leg, trying to feel the bounce in the ankle and the stretch in the hip joint. I'm trying to take the weight through the joints themselves. And you see I'm leaning slightly backwards. It will feel like you're leaning back, but really you're standing up straight because we're used to leaning forward. Now here's the first arm swing. You're just bouncing up and down and swinging the arms forward and backwards. But I've got to get this alignment movement right. You see, I've got to bounce from the hips and the ankles. So you see the ankles, I'm on the ball of the foot, and I project the hips forward and backwards to bounce in the hip joint. It's not the knees. Not much work on the knees, it's all in the ankles and the hips. And the spine is still straight. I've still got a slight backwards arch in the lumbar and the belly pulled in. Shoulders lifted up and back, but the elbows, the wrist and the hands relaxed. Total relaxation. And once you get this total relaxation, you can start dropping the arms like this. See how I'm dropping them? I've got to relax, and then they'll drop down to the shoulders, then the elbows will extend, and then the wrist will extend, and what you'll get is a whip. You see, the body is designed to create a whip, and if you can relax properly and totally, what happens is you're letting the elasticity of the tendons take over, not the tension in the muscles, and you'll feel it like an elastic band. So when you drop your arms like this, you'll feel a whip right down to the tip of your fingers. And this is very important, and it's very difficult to do. It takes years of practice. You have to learn how to totally relax your arms, but still I've got a slight tension in my body to maintain the alignment. It's really just the elbows, the wrist and the fingers that are totally relaxed. I've still got a very slight control in the shoulders to keep them in the right position. And if you can feel this relaxation, you'll feel it like an elastic band. Your arm falls down through a sequence of levers, and these levers are controlled by the elasticity of the ligaments, and it just happens all by itself. And now we're trying a swinging the arms a bit like you're walking. So you're just bouncing on the spot. And a very slight bounce again in the hips and the ankles, and a very slight twist from the hips. You feel the twist from the hips, but keeping that nice, natural, neutral spine, a vertical alignment right up to the crown of the head, and you lift up the rib cage. You see when the arm swings back, feel the shoulder lift up and the rib cage move. It's very important. I've got to move the spine. Every vertebra in the spine has got to connect and flow. This moves to the rib cage and this moves to the shoulder, and then the arm just swings. But because the arm is swinging, the elbow, the wrist and the fingers totally relaxed. Absolute total relaxation, and you'll feel the blood fly out to your fingertips. You'll get the blood flow going. And of course, in order to walk effortlessly, the secret is total relaxation. And you see you're alternating. One foot is landing on the floor, that's got a bit of tension, but the other foot is going to swing through the air, can be relaxed. The same with the arms. Now the arms are just swinging, they can always be relaxed. The swing will come from the spine, extend through the rib cage, through the vertical spine, from a bounce in the hips, a bounce in the ankles, and the arms are totally relaxed. So no effort in the arm, no energy being used, but you're creating momentum by swinging them. It's all in the spine. Now we try one leg at a time. So you've got to lean against the wall so that the other leg can rise up a bit. Otherwise you hit the floor. So I'm leaning at an angle. Hold the arm up, again in a neutral position. I'm trying to maintain the neutral position of my spine. But now relax the hip, relax the knee, relax the ankle, relax the toes, and just swing. I'm swinging from the hip. I've got to feel the stretch in the hip joint itself. This is key. The elasticity is in the joints, the ligaments, and the trick is to loosen them up and use them. We don't use them, our hip is locked. Our joints are all locked, so there's tension in the muscles. We're not using the muscles, we're using the ligaments, much more efficient. See, now the leg is totally relaxed. And now you can see with a totally relaxed leg, it starts to bend. It's natural. This is like a football kick. An expert footballer will know how to do this. They're kicking the football with no effort. It's a whip. The whip comes from the hip down through the knee to the ankle to the toes. And again, when I swing forward, the hip goes back. And when I swing the leg back, the hip goes forward. I'm feeling a counter swing in the hip joint. It's tricky to do. You've got to play around with this. It's tricky. Very, very tricky. And we're moving up to a very advanced level of this. But now try it like this. Hold the foot back so you really stretch out the thigh muscle for a bit and stretch the hip. And then just let it go. Let the leg swing out. Now be careful. Don't jar your knee. You can hurt your knee. You've got to control this. The whip has got to go to the toes. And it takes a bit of practice to do this. You see, you can do it very slightly. I'm doing a very small one, and I'm creating a little whip out to the toes. And you can feel it. The blood will fly out to the toes. And you'll only get this if you can achieve total relaxation in the leg muscles, the ankle and the toes and the foot. Everything must be dead. Now with a little twist. So I'm putting a little twist in the hip and creating a whip right down to the tippy toes. This is moving into martial arts. This is how you would do a powerful kick, effortlessly. So again, on the other leg, have another little go. You hold the leg, stretch it back, feel a stretch in the hip, and then just let it go, and you'll feel the whip fly down to the tip of the toes. But remember, you've got to lean against the wall so you don't hit the floor. You've got to be able to relax the foot. You've got to get the angle that you can relax it. The hip joint is still slightly controlled, but the knee, the ankle, the toes are totally relaxed. The only thing you've got to be careful of is not jarring the knee. The whip has got to go through the knee down to the toes. Very, very important. So you must practice this ever so slowly, ever so carefully. You can hurt yourself. Now here's the hard version. You've got to balance on one leg, and you swing that leg like you were doing before. You've got to lean to the side a bit so that your leg will swing and not hit the floor. And you've got to swing the arms at the same time. So this requires balance. So again, try this very slowly, very carefully. You will fall over, no big deal. You see I'm still going to wobble about a bit. But this is, again, you can see now why this is a high-level mastery skill. This is a particular exercise that is difficult. It's to do with balance, it's to do with alignment and control of the joints. You see, you've got to balance into the supporting leg. That's got to go into the hip. You've got to control the neutral spine, hold it in its neutral position, control a very gentle twist in the spine. That will go to a swing in the hip and a swing in the arms. And the swing in the arms has got to counterbalance the swing in the leg. You're creating quite a complex momentum. But in order to do this in a most efficient way, you've got to balance it through the center of gravity. So the center of gravity is your spine, and the arms and legs swing against each other to maintain this center of gravity. And this is how you walk. And you can see now one leg holds the effort because you're standing on one leg. The other leg is relaxed and the arms are relaxed. So I'm trying to achieve total relaxation when doing this. All the tension is in the supporting leg and holding the spine right. Holding the spine correct. That's the only tension. Belly is always pulled in. Now you can see I'm bouncing. I'm bouncing on the supporting ankle. You see, I'm not landing on the heel, never on the heel, always on the toes, the arch of the foot, the ankle, the Achilles tendon, and now I'm swinging higher and higher and higher. So it's difficult to do. The higher you swing, the harder it gets, the more you lose balance. So the trick is to maintain the balance. You let yourself bounce, shuffle about, no problem, but you've got to find the counter swing. The arms and the legs swing against each other. So I hope this little video made sense and you could follow along. Please let me know any questions or comments below. Do stay tuned to the next one coming soon. And this is all about slow, careful internal practice. And we're working up to power walking in the end. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.